What's up everyone and welcome back to the channel. Let's dive into our first news. Kamaru Usman has made it clear that he's got his eyes set on the winner of the upcoming matchup between JDM and Islam. During a recent appearance on the Pound for Pound podcast, Usman was asked about his next move and whether he plans to step back into the octagon soon. The former welterweight champion didn't hesitate, flashing a confident smile as he dropped a subtle but strong hint about what's next for him. When asked if he had any fight news to share, the host pressed, "Are you fighting the winner of Islam and JDM?" Usman grinned and replied, Yes, I'm going to be fighting the winner." His response immediately caught everyone's attention. While he didn't give away too many details, the excitement in his tone said it all. Usman seemed motivated, ready to chase another massive opportunity, and hungry to prove that he still belongs at the top of the sport. He added that he's not entirely sure how things will play out, but that his goal remains the same, to face the best. "Those guys, I don't know," Usman said with a laugh, pausing before continuing. "But dude, fighting those guys? I don't know. For all you fans, I got a feeling, inshallah, I'll be fighting soon." Usman's comments have already stirred plenty of talk among fight fans, especially with both JDM and Islam being two of the most dangerous fighters in the world right now. Whether it's the technical brilliance of Islam or the striking power of JDM, Usman seems ready for either challenge. After years of dominance and some tough battles, the former champ looks focused on redemption. One thing's certain, Kamaru Usman isn't done chasing greatness just yet. And before we continue, make sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe to help support the channel. Moving on to another news, Mario Bautista recently opened up about his unanimous decision loss to Umar Nurmagomedov and revealed a rather honest thought he had before their fight. Bautista admitted that he was actually hoping Khabib, who was in Umar's corner, might have pushed him a little too hard in training. After seeing Umar come off his loss to Merab, Bautista thought maybe Khabib's legendary work ethic could end up backfiring if he pushed Umar beyond his limits. But as Bautista quickly found out, that was definitely not the case. Speaking after the fight, Bautista said with a grin, he looked way better. He would have to, right? Just coming off that loss and then Khabib getting on top of him, making him work. Khabib was probably pissed after that and just made him grind harder. He went on to explain that everyone had been saying Khabib pushed Umar harder than ever during camp, and that's when Bautista started hoping the pressure might have gone too far. "I was hoping he overtrained him, to be honest," he said. "I thought that could have worked in my favor. Maybe his immune system would be down, maybe he'd get sick a few times." But once they stepped inside the octagon, Bautista realized immediately that wasn't the case at all. He looked good. He felt strong, he admitted. "Being in there with him, I could tell he was sharp and focused." Still, Bautista didn't sound discouraged. In fact, he believes the experience showed him exactly what adjustments he needs to make to win a potential rematch. "If I made some adjustments, I definitely think I could beat him," he said confidently. "There's nothing crazy special there. I know I can hang with him for 3 rounds and defend everything. It's just a matter of winning positions and executing better next time." Despite the loss, Bautista's mindset remains determined and hungry. He gave full credit to Umar's performance, but made it clear he's not backing down. For Bautista, it's just another step in his journey to becoming one of the best in the division. Moving on to another news, UFC lightweight Dan Hooker recently shared his honest reaction to the ongoing Tom Aspinall eye poke situation that's been making headlines. Known for his toughness and relentless fighting style, Hooker admitted that even he would have stopped fighting if he were in Aspinall's position that night. Hooker started by saying that if he was Tom Aspinall in that moment, he'd be walking away too. He laughed, saying, "Am I Tom Aspinall? Because I'm leaving. I'm leaving, bro. I'm Dan Hooker and I'm leaving." He explained that while fighters often tell themselves they'll push through anything, the truth is that there are some injuries that simply make it impossible to continue. As he broke down the clip of the eye poke, Hooker described how at first it didn't look too bad from one angle. He said, "When I saw the video, I looked at one finger and it was like barely touching it. I thought that's not too bad. But then you look at the other finger and it's like, holy wreck. He's trying to dig his brainstem out." The realization made it clear just how bad the incident really was. Hooker didn't hesitate to admit that. Despite his reputation for grit, he'd have made the same call Aspinall did. Does Dan Hooker stop or does Dan Hooker keep going? He asked rhetorically before answering himself, No, we're stopping. We're stopping. We've had enough of it." His tone mixed humor and honesty, but his point was serious. The injury was severe, and continuing would have been reckless. He went on to say that in theory, every fighter wants to believe they'd keep going no matter what. But in practice, when something like that happens, the only smart move is to protect yourself. "In theory, it always sounds good," Hooker said, "but in practice, you're stopping." Hooker's comments perfectly captured the balance between bravery and self-preservation that every fighter faces in moments like these. While fans might expect toughness at all costs, Hooker's take reminded everyone that there's a line between courage and risking permanent damage. Moving on to another news, Ray Longo, coach of Merab, recently shared his thoughts on Umar Nurmagomedov's performance against Mario Bautista. Longo acknowledged that Umar looked solid in his unanimous decision win, but made it clear that he still doesn't believe Umar could beat Merab if they fought again. Speaking about the fight, Longo said he respects Umar's skills and sees him as one of the top pound-for-pound fighters in the world, but he wasn't wasn't overly impressed by what he saw inside the octagon. Longo explained that while Umar controlled the fight well and showed great composure, it wasn't the kind of performance that left him speechless. "Look, Umar is a good fighter, no question about it," he said. "But was it a knock you out of your socks kind of win? No, he looked good, but I also noticed he was breathing pretty heavy out there. Maybe it doesn't mean anything, but when you've got the machine in front of you, that's not a great look." By the machine, Longo was referring to Merab, who is known for his relentless pace,
unmatched cardio, and pressure-heavy style.
Longo pointed out that while Umar is technically brilliant, there was nothing in that fight to suggest he would handle Merab's pace any better than before. "He's a great fighter, 100%, Longo continued, "but I didn't see anything in that fight that would make me think a rematch with Merab would go any differently. Maybe I'm wrong, but based on what I saw, Merab's still too much for him." Longo's comments echoed what many in the MMA community have said since Umar's win, that while Umar is undoubtedly elite, Merab's combination of pressure, wrestling, and endurance continues to set him apart from the rest of the division. For now, Longo and Merab remain confident that if that rematch ever happens, the result will be the same, another dominant night for the machine. Moving on to another news, Khamzat continues to prove that he never shies away from testing himself against bigger and tougher opponents. His latest sparring revelation only adds to that reputation. This time, Khamzat went up against fellow Russian UFC heavyweight Alexander Volkov, who's coming off an impressive win over Jelton Almeida at UFC 321. In that fight, Volkov spent much of his time on the ground defending against Almeida's wrestling, but still managed to secure the victory with patience and solid defense. In a recent appearance on Oshotnika, Volkov's sparring partner for that fight, undefeated Russian prospect Roman Lukashevich, shared details about how intense those sparring sessions were. He revealed that when Khamzat and Volkov trained together, the atmosphere in the gym was electric. Roman explained that Khamzat's intensity was something to behold, describing him as someone who always goes full throttle in training. It's not the first time Khamzat's sparring has made headlines either. He's notorious for his all-out approach even during practice. Fighters like Sean Strickland have previously told him to tone it down while training at Extreme Couture, which is quite ironic since Strickland himself has a reputation for going hard on his partners, even those with little or no professional fighting experience. Roman went on to describe how the sessions between Khamzat and Volkov played out. He said Khamzat's takedown game was stronger overall, but trying to submit Volkov was nearly impossible. Volkov, being a true heavyweight, is extremely strong, physically imposing, and technically sound in grappling exchanges. Roman noted that we could already see that in his recent bout with Almeida, where Volkov's defensive skills made it incredibly difficult to take him down or threaten him with submissions. He added that Volkov's striking is on another level, making him one of the most dangerous fighters to stand and trade with. When asked to imagine how a potential fight between Khamzat and Almeida might go at 205 pounds, Roman was cautious but shared his thoughts. He said that Almeida isn't a particularly big guy, while Khamzat is one of the largest and most powerful middleweights in the sport. He explained that, technically speaking, Khamzat's MMA wrestling is superior to that of Almeida, and even better than most heavyweights in the division. According to Roman, Khamzat's combination of relentless pressure, technical grappling, and physical strength allows him to compete at a level far above his weight class. All in all, the sparring between Khamzat and Volkov shows once again that Khamzat isn't afraid to challenge himself against anyone, regardless of their size or division. It's another reminder of why he's one of the most talked about fighters in the UFC today, a competitor who's always ready to test his limits against the best. Moving on to another news. Max Holloway recently met the former world's strongest man, Hafthor Bjornsson, and the moment quickly turned into a fun and lighthearted exchange between two very different kinds of athletes. The UFC star and the Icelandic giant, best known for playing the Mountain on Game of Thrones, came face to face in what fans are calling one of the most entertaining meetups of the year. As the two greeted each other, Max looked up with a big smile and said, "How you doing, man? Nice meeting you." Hafthor responded warmly, "Good. How's travel? Was it long?" Max laughed and replied, "Yeah, long. I'm DJ from Hawaii. The flight from Hawaii to Seattle is about 6 hours." Hafthor nodded, impressed, and joked about the long trip. There was an easy, respectful energy between them as they chatted about travel, training, and the grind of their respective careers. Then came the highlight moment of their meeting. Max, always in good spirits, playfully asked, "I want one more. Get me in a headlock." Hafthor grinned, gently wrapping his massive arm around Max's shoulders as they posed for the cameras. Max laughed, pretending to struggle, saying, "There you go, perfect. I'm gonna post this picture and say some random guy just grabbed me. Like, who is this guy?" Everyone around them burst into laughter. The two shook hands again before parting ways, both smiling and clearly enjoying the lighthearted moment. Max's humility and humor once again showed why fans love him, while Hafthor's friendly nature reminded everyone that behind the world's strongest man title is a genuinely kind and down-to-earth person. It was a simple but memorable crossover between strength and skill, one that fans won't forget anytime soon. Moving on to another news, Ronda Rousey is once again making headlines after sharing her honest thoughts about Dana White and the future of the UFC. After spending years away from the spotlight of mixed martial arts, the former bantamweight champion has recently been opening up about the sport again, reminding fans just how deeply connected she still is to the fight game. Over the past few weeks, Rousey has surprised many by posting clips of herself training, hitting pads, and revealing that she's loving being back in that mindset. She's also done a handful of interviews lately, and one in particular caught everyone's attention. During a sit-down with comedian Bert Kreischer, Rousey was asked about Dana White and what might happen to the UFC once he eventually decides to retire. The moment Bert mentioned how much he admires Dana, calling himself a total fanboy, Rousey smiled but gave a surprisingly emotional response. She said, "I think without Dana, its soul is gone. Dana is the heart." She explained that what makes the UFC what it is today isn't just the fighters or the brand itself. It's Dana's drive, passion, and vision that give the organization its unique identity. Rousey went on to say how much she genuinely loves and respects Dana White as a person. "I love him so much," she said with a laugh. "He's everything you'd want that guy to be. His intensity, his energy, it's unmatched. I love you, Dana, but he's still a little bit of a meathead, you know? But that's why I relate to him more." She added that Dana's raw personality, his straightforwardness, and his refusal to back down from anyone are what make him special. "He doesn't give a damn, he just talks wild, and I love that about him," she continued. For Rousey, Dana isn't just a promoter, he's the heartbeat of the UFC. He's the star of the UFC, she said firmly. "When Dana's done, I think the title of the dominant MMA organization will be up for grabs. Without him, it's just 3 letters." Her words struck a chord, especially with longtime fans who've witnessed the transformation of the sport under Dana's leadership. Rousey's admiration was clear throughout the conversation. She praised his vision, his relentless attitude, and his ability to keep pushing boundaries even when critics doubted him. To her, Dana White represents more than just the face of the company. He represents the spirit of what makes the UFC great. And when that spirit eventually steps away, she believes the sport will never quite be the same again. Moving on to another news, Daniel Cormier recently shared his thoughts on Tom Aspinall's comments about being willing to vacate the heavyweight title rather than fight his friend, Ilya. During a segment of his show, DC reflected on how that situation reminded him of his own career and the emotional challenge he faced when training alongside his close friend and teammate, Cain Velasquez. Cormier admitted that he fully understood Tom's position, explaining that fighting someone you consider family just doesn't feel right, no matter how high the stakes may be. "I would never take an opportunity from a friend," Cormier said, "but I'd also have a hard time saying I'm a friend if I had something that I knew he wanted and didn't give him a chance to get it. That's just me." He went on to explain that his dynamic with Cain was unique because they trained together for years, and from the very beginning of his MMA journey, Cain was there helping him grow. "My career started with Cain Velasquez and it ended with Cain Velasquez," DC said. "There was no me having a career before joining the team. I learned everything with him." Cormier shared that it felt impossible to ever fight Cain, not because of fear, but because of the emotional bond they had built. "I mean, I wrestled people I cared about before, but fighting is different," he explained. "You're trying to end somebody. You're going in there to hurt them, and I couldn't do that to my buddy. From the very first punch I learned to throw, he was right there showing me how. That would have been impossible to turn against." He also pointed out that when he first joined the gym, he was already an accomplished athlete, an Olympian, and a top heavyweight wrestler, but Cain never treated him like competition. "It would have been easy for him to look at me and think, this guy's going to be a problem down the line, why should I help him? But he didn't. He took me under his wing and made me better," DC said. "That's why I could never fight him." Cormier noted that while he understands Aspinall's loyalty and respect for Ilya, every situation is different. "I don't know what these guys are going to do, especially if he wins," he said. "It's a tough spot to be in. You want to be a champion, but you also want to stay true to the people who helped you get there." For DC, it's clear that he sees a lot of himself in Tom Aspinall, someone who values friendship and loyalty just as much as success. Moving on to another news, Dana White has once again fired back at criticism directed toward the UFC, showing exactly why he's known for his no-nonsense attitude. During a recent live stream with Nina Drama, Dana made an unplanned appearance and quickly found himself addressing a fan's negative comment about the upcoming events. One viewer asked him why tomorrow's and next week's UFC cards were supposedly so bad. Dana didn't hesitate for even a second before clapping back in classic Dana White fashion. He looked directly at the camera and said, "How's it bad when it hasn't even happened yet?" before telling the fan to shut the up. The blunt response instantly went viral, with fans split between laughter and applause for Dana's unapologetic style. He went on to add, "Watch it tomorrow, and if it's bad, then tell me it's bad." It was a short but powerful moment that perfectly captured how he's built his reputation: direct, confident, and unwilling to let criticism go unanswered. Dana has always been vocal about defending his fighters and his promotion, and this latest exchange was no different. Rather than entertain negativity or speculation, he doubled down and reminded everyone that fights should be judged only after they happen. Whether fans love or hate his approach, there's no denying that Dana White continues to keep the UFC in the headlines, showing once again why he remains one of the most outspoken and influential figures in combat sports. Moving on to another news, Jorge Masvidal recently gave his thoughts on Henry Cejudo's upcoming fight against Payton Talbott at UFC 323, and as expected, Gamebred didn't hold back. During their conversation, Henry mentioned that this would be his final fight, marking the end of an incredible career. He said that facing Payton would be a tough challenge, but also shared that he's got respect for the young fighter. Payton has even trained with Henry before, and Cejudo admitted that he's got love for him as a person. Still, once the cage door closes, there's no friendship, no emotion, just two men fighting for legacy. December 6th, Henry said, "You know what's going down, my last fight. I've got a tough opponent now. Payton's come out to work with me before, and I've got love for him too. But in that octagon, man, it's either you or my kids. I'm looking to get my last W and then ride off into the sunset." His tone was calm but firm, a man speaking with purpose, aware that this was likely the last time he'd ever make that walk under the lights. Masvidal, always known for his sharp takes, jumped in with his honest opinion about Payton's chances. "I like Pay," Masvidal said. "He's a skilled kid, but obviously I think he's way over his head. There's just too much sauce for him right now." He made it clear that while he respects Payton's talent and drive, he doesn't believe the young fighter is ready for someone like Cejudo. "I think you're going to beat him, man," he added confidently. For Masvidal, it wasn't about disrespect, it was about experience, grit, and the kind of battle-tested mindset that only years inside the cage can create. Payton Talbott might have talent, but stepping in against a legend like Henry Cejudo, especially in what could be his retirement fight, is a tall order. As UFC 323 approaches, fans can sense the intensity building, and Masvidal's words only add more fuel to the anticipation surrounding Cejudo's final appearance inside the octagon. That's it from MMA Pulse News. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for daily MMA news.